Yes, yes, they moved in
Wow, that was
overnight.
pretty quick then.
The house sold in 4 days. The guy got above asking price.
Wow.
Wow.
Good for
Wow.
us. Good for us
Yes.
Yes, very good for
Yes.
you.
anyway.
That bumped up your value of your property because first of all, he paid overprice and now he sold it for overprice, which really escalates your property like crazy, no?
Absolutely. And
Good for you.
the people next door had no seller's assist. They didn't ask for anything special, nothing.
Oh,
243,000. And
holy
he's
crap.
working only. It's a couple who aren't married. Um,
Wow.
with 3 kids. They had a 5-month-old baby together, Camilla. Oh, just a cute, just forever
Wow.
smiling. I think I said, "Does a kid ever not smile?" I love it. I've never seen a baby this happy, you know? Uh,
Wow.
um, what was I gonna say? Um, what was I gonna say? Uh, and then she had 2 girls, 11 and 13, with her ex-husband. So
Wow.
I don't know how
Wow.
long they've been together, but it must be serious enough for them to buy a house, but she doesn't work. So his income alone is supporting that mortgage, which is
Wow. What does he
works
do?
for UPS. He's in some kind of a management. He doesn't drive
Okay.
because I think he has to do with all the tractor trailers and the pups that and coordinating them. So it's maybe more like um, traffic.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but that's kind of what it sounded like. You know,
Some supervisory management position, yeah, obviously. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Wow. Wow.
So
Wow.
um, what was I going to say? Yeah, so good for them, but lovely, lovely. So we had 2 tables, 10 chairs, wooden chairs, all beautifully upholstered that we were getting ready to take down to the consignment store and donate them for them to sell. And I said, you know what, honey, let's ask them if they want them. Because we were
Oh,
going to put them over there if we bought the house. And they were like,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And then Bill helped them hook up his dryer. He has to learn more. He wants to be handy. He has some tools, knows some stuff. Bill says, "I'll teach you. I'll teach you." You know.
Oh, what a neighborly thing to
Yeah.
do. What a neighborly thing
So
to
then
do.
I told her. So then she decided to put the 2 tables together like I had for it's a 14-foot table. And so I gave
Wow.
her the 2 tablecloths that I had,
Oh,
a ivory, thicker polyester, to cover because so you can't see 2, there's 2 different tables. And then the most gorgeous lace I've ever purchased. It was such a beautiful, piece of lace that
Wow.
I got and just cut because you don't have to really finish the edges on it.
Mm.
And we laid that over there, and then my dad had made me this mirror that on the corners they were just cut off, like you took this the what do you call it, the rectangle of our pictures and just cut off
mhm.
each corner.
Ah,
And we put that, always had it in the center of the table with an arrangement on it, so that mirror had a lot of reflection and it showed the chandelier above it and in my when it was in
ah,
my dining room. So I said, "Would you like a mirror on here?" Because I'll never cover up the table I have now that's just all
Yeah.
just gorgeous, gorgeous wood. And she's like, "Really?" I said, "Bill, go get it." I said, "And if she likes it, she can have it." So then I told
Wow.
her that I would go through all my totes of stuff because I have just a tremendous amount of lace curtains and I saved everything. And some of the stuff is from his mom's place, which I bought, which is absolutely, it's they're not my colors, but it's beautiful because but it matched her stuff because she had a lot of French, uh, uh, not French, yeah, French country. She was big on and antiques, Louis VIII. She's like wig
Wow.
stands. My mother-in-law that she used for end tables, Louis VIII wig stands. I mean, it's her furniture is freaking gorgeous. But that's all in storage. But her, some of the bedding, some of the curtains and things, they're stunning. So I said, listen, I had them all dry cleaned. They're hanging on, hangers in the closet. If you want them, you are welcome, because she came from a little tiny apartment and now they've got this huge house.
Oh,
And I know what it takes to
oh,
furnish that. She
Oh.
said we nearly went broke getting Venetian blinds, shade kind of a thing to put on the windows. So I said, listen,
Wow.
you can have any of it. What do I need it for? The intent of me keeping it was we always thought we were going to buy that house next door. So let it go where it belongs. And the girl
Nice.
loves Victorian. We gave her a tour of the house, both of them and their families. And she nearly fell over. She's like, oh my God,
Oh,
is
fantastic.
this what my house can look like?
Fantastic.
And
Fantastic.
it's a process. These young kids, they're in their mid 30s. They'll work up to it. I don't know what his taste is. I don't think it's the same. It's the same as hers, but it's okay. Yeah, it's all working out. Yeah, yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
How lucky they are. How lucky they are.
Yeah,
Really.
yeah, they're very, and the guy said to Bill, what can I pay you? That Bill took him up to the hardware store and showed him where it was, and he knew when he hooked up the dryer from doing our dryer that they never give you a long enough hose, vent thing. So he
Yeah.
went up again, and guy says, what? Tell me what I can give you. Bill says, don't you dare. He said, don't ask me this question. He said, of what you want to pay me. He said, I do this because I can and because I want to do it, not
Yeah,
because.
exactly. It's being a good neighbor. Being a good neighbor.
So,
It's joy. It's a joy. It's a joy. Absolutely. It's a joy. It's a
so
joy.
I met the 11-year-old daughter and she's all excited. I said, did your mom tell you that I make jewelry? I said, would you like to come over and learn how to make jewelry? She's like, oh my God. She goes, my daughter said she couldn't wait to come over and meet you. She was cute. She had this fun little top on and she had these funky little sneakers on. So she's all full of pizzazz and fashion, this little 11-year-old.
Oh, brilliant.
Very
Brilliant.
polite, very well-mannered.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So the two daughters are what ages?
11 and 13. I didn't meet the 13-year-old yet. She was
Oh,
up taking a shower or something.
those are
And
those
so
are those are good ages. Good
yeah,
ages.
yeah, they're sweet. They're still very,
Oh,
they
oh,
don't have that
they're not spoiled yet. They're
have that
not spoiled.
attitude.
Yeah. At least hopefully they'll never get spoiled.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But the mother's lovely, the young mother.
Oh, good.
So
Oh, good.
yeah, it's
Oh,
all
good.
good. We're like, oh, we lucked out. We lucked out on every level that,
Yeah.
because, we could have gotten anybody or anything. But I always said to Bill, if somebody can afford that house, they're
Yeah.
not losers. Now, if that thing went for 50,000, we could have got some real scumbags. I'm sorry. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? In there
Exactly.
who would have never appreciated the home. And they fell in love with the stained glass, just like we did, or I did when I bought the house. So we
Fantastic.
showed them that we have their entire front door beveled glass in our basement. It has to all be reconstructed because it was broken. I said, and we have your other window here in our we showed it to them. It's laying on our work table. And we said, if you want that back, they were throwing them in the garbage. So we just took them. And we asked permission, of course. And the owner had given us the other door, beveled glass window, probably, I don't know, 15 years ago, long before he died and so forth. But so they were like, yeah. I said, well, when you're ready and you have money, I mean, we would have to charge them for that because that's hours. We've made average our
Oh,
windows
absolutely.
take
Absolutely.
over 100 hours
Yeah.
for us to make them.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Oh, no, that's a different logic then. Yeah.
Mhm. But yeah, we have more on. So that's what's been going on here. So I'm going to go through my stuff as soon as we're done here. before my clients come and see what I can pull out and she can look at. And again, not shoving it on her. You know, what do you need? What do you want is going to be my intent. Not saying you have to take this or this would be good for you because I think it is. You know, so I don't, you know, so it'll be great. So I might even go through all my tablecloths. I have a drawer that's
Oh,
it's 2 foot tall, deep, big on the buffet, filled with linens that I just won't ever use. You know, handmade stuff passed down from
oh
generation.
my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah, all you know. My one great aunt used to do that tatting,
Uh-huh.
I think they call, you know, with it looks like more of a cotton kind of a thread, but very intricate. You know, it's like making lace out of and doing it like, you know, appliques on cloths and things like that. But I just, you know, how much of that stuff can you have? And we don't entertain here anymore. Uh, you know, since my father had gotten sick, it was too much. Even though my house fit everybody a lot easier, but hey, it is what it is. Things change, and you know, I'm okay with not having to entertain that many people all the time every holiday. It was getting old. It was getting old. 30 people here, and I did everything. That's what Bill said. If everybody's going to start helping Sue, we can't have this here anymore. You know, I don't even enjoy a holiday. So I'm not, I don't, trust me, I don't plan on hosting any big events regularly here. So we'll see. But it's all good. It's all good. But I do want to ask you something. By the way, that I listened to the Facebook Live with Daniela. She's lovely, you know,
Oh yeah.
and it was a nice thing about motivation. And what was interesting was I have a potential client from Jocelyn. This woman is from in India, supposedly from a very, very wealthy family. But she claims, because she wants to lose weight, she claims that she struggles with commitment. She says, I'm a quitter. I quitted everything. I don't apply myself. I don't follow through. I don't stick to anything. She said, I'm going to be your hardest test. I'm going to be your hardest case. I don't think you can do it. I'm just a mess and blah, blah, blah.
You're setting
So
yourself up to fail.
absolutely. Absolutely. So Jocelyn said, I think she needs more of what you do before she starts,
Interesting.
but before she starts the weight loss component
Because
there.
I mean, for one, the self-conception is already a miss.
Absolutely a miss. That's talk about a self-fulfilling prophecy of a
Exactly.
negative self-conception.
Exactly. You know, and this disconnect from impeccability and self-ownership and self-responsibility, all of that, you know, the stuff that's in the early modules, it's all missing, yeah, for sure. It all depends how serious she really is, because, you know, typically weight loss is connected to other stuff, as you likely know. So dealing with weight loss directly is typically a band-aid solution.
Right. Is.
Yeah.
So that's why he recognized that fact that there's something way, way deeper here. And he
Interesting.
said, this is not my field. You know, he said, I'm going to refer her over. She
Yeah.
hasn't contacted me yet. You know, it's all done through Facebook Messenger. We had to, you know, become friends and
That'd be fabulous to do, you know, for you to do wave impeccability with her.
yeah. Would it be the whole program? I mean, I want to talk to her. I mean, the whole confidence, and you know, no motive, the confidence issue that's behind it is really attached to that motivation. And that's why when you guys were talking about that motivation with Danielle, I'm like, oh my God, if I can get this across to this woman, you know, choose your effort and reward. First of all, it is for your motivation. Do what you want to do, the reward you want to get out of it. Are you willing to make the effort is really how
Exactly. And this is the magic of the program. The fact that it's extensive. It is not the content only that is so valuable. It is the opportunity to interact, to apply, to demonstrate, to prove to yourself that I can. Because every time you're doing a repeat back, every time you're doing a takeaway, you are saying I can, which builds your confidence.
Mhm.
And then too, through each separate session, each slide, that when the participant comes back, like Robin today, and we're talking about how she did the stuff over the weekend, whatever it was. My emphasis is always on proof that you are doing it, you are applying. So I'm emphasizing, oh, you use this, name that app, you were doing this, you were doing that, which builds to the confidence. I can. I mean, I'm really hammering this point with Robin because she's a bit slow in this shift over from that seeking mode to accepting to being the captain. So
Mhm.
this is a big deal, but still, in overall, it is this the fact that every time it's a new session, a new understanding. Yes, the tools in themselves are valuable, but it is that opportunity for them to demonstrate that they are changing, learning, growing, that they can learn, grow, change. And so this is invaluable. It's the length of time, really, that makes the key issue here. But we are just making it interesting rather than hopping on one point over and over for how many ever months. It's the same thing we are doing in the abstract, just making it interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because again,
Yeah.
it's the real goal is for her to become more aware, aware
Exactly.
of her own self, her own self
Exactly.
discoveries, and that
Exactly.
in and of itself will,
Exactly.
makes that connection to growth and enhancement and all that other good stuff. And hence, then she'll be motivated, because you want to get more out of life. But how do you get more out of life until you become aware that there is more? And
Yeah.
that you want more and on and on and on. So yeah, and trusting, there's another big component there, trusting in the process of what her intent is, even though she thinks she can't do it,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
trust in that.
Right. Right. But you have a beautiful opening here to say, look, yes, weight is the thing that you want to deal with. But you are saying yourself, you don't trust yourself, you don't finish. So there's a moreness. So really, you want to deal with your ability to finish, your ability to trust yourself, your ability to follow through, etc., etc. So there's a deeper issue here of what you are actually really wanting to deal with. So then the motive, yeah, I would love to deal with my inability to finish or commit or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the weight
So
is not the first
there's
step.
a big element. Absolutely not. I mean, it's self appreciation, self acceptance, self acknowledgement, right? Self trust. These are all the deeper
Yeah.
issues, no?
Absolutely. And the more I sat down and thought about it, I'm like, wow, this again, you can connect this program to anything. But again,
Exactly.
it's the selling of it.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
we'll see.
Exactly.
We'll see if she wants to do it, if she accepts my friendship.
Yeah.
And then I'll
Yeah.
Very
talk to her
exciting.
a couple
Very
times
exciting.
on
Very, very,
Messenger.
very exciting.
Yes, it is exciting.
Very
And
exciting.
And
personally,
what's
sorry,
that?
please continue. No, please continue. I'm sure later.
Um, what was I going to say? Yeah, the fact that, just helping her just break it down, make it simple, make it easy. I
Exactly.
think there's a lot of overwhelm there that's probably underneath it all, that she struggles with. And that's what probably paralyzes her as well. So again, without saying that, just cueing the fact of taking baby steps, and those little profound changes can be those little changes can be profound transformations in your life. Yeah. So we'll see. But my guess my question to you was, is the whole program necessary for something like this when it's a specific problem? Yes, there's a few things, but is it the whole program that she needs?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what I was saying earlier.
Okay.
The reason why the whole program is because it provides an opportunity for practice and implementation. We're doing the same thing. What's the issue that we're dealing with? Motivation, commitment, self confidence, self acceptance. each session that we are doing, doesn't matter what the topic is, we know this is the intent. So we are providing opportunity for them to demonstrate through the repeat backs, through the takeaways, through the dictionary of power, through sharing how they've been applying, that they are now practicing commitment. They are now practicing self-motivation. They are practicing follow-through. Why? Because it's about being impeccable, dealing with your habits. We always related back to that. But each different session connects back to the issue. All of it, the self-conception, for instance, connecting to the moreness, habit shifting, mood management, every single aspect always then becomes connected via pertinence and relevance to their core issues. And each of them are just a different mechanism for practice and implementation. If we deal with the one issue only, we basically got 1 or 2 weeks, a month maybe, that we are dealing, and it's not enough time for the deepness to settle in. So this is the key. Yes, it's the whole program, but don't confuse each module as being those things that we're dealing with. No, we are actually dealing with their core issues, because we are just going to connect it. Every single time, we are going to connect it to what's of pertinence and relevance to them, to that single issue that we are dealing with. Like inability to commit. Well, you're not impeccable, you're not mood shifting, you're not perspective shifting, your self-conception is off, etc., etc. Always connected back to that. So it's the same thing. We deal with it through these various perspectives, which lets us connect to the whole. Yeah, we're going to deal with all the windows.
Okay. So the center column here, would it always be coming and be attached to the weight loss desire?
You can do that if she feels that the weight loss is something that's really a pressure to her, to actually motivate her to do that. So we say, fine, if you want to deal with weight loss, you first got to deal with your ability to commit. You want to deal with your ability to deal with your ability to commit. You have to deal with your ability to be responsible, to choose for yourself, your ability to be impeccable, your ability to change your self-conception, etc., etc. So yeah, sure, you can use any single thing as the leverage point, whatever it is that is motivating them. And yes, the weight is something she's there. It's connected to her every single day. So this is habit shifting, huge, mood shifting, huge, perception. So yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But it's always that it's the top of the tree, and then from there you spread into the bigger abstract, the commitment, the follow through. From there you connect lower, and so you keep on going down that tree. And each module, each session then becomes just following down that tree. You can just trace it back up again to that. It's very simple. Pick any module, any session, and you'll see how it can be connected back up to the weight. Very simple. Because it's going to connect back to your abilities, your mindset, your confidence, your competence. And from there, you connect the specific ability. Very simple. Very, very simple.
Yeah, I would, and that was just my little, hiccup there. Okay, so is it the weight loss that you keep bringing it back to, or is it really her awareness of what needs, what shifts needs to make? But it makes it easier doing the weight loss part. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I mean, there's so many tools that are so valuable that, and as we go along with the dictionary of power, they're constantly adding their own tools, but we need this variety to stimulate that. So, doing the whole program, because it's such a plethora of tools, you don't always know which are going to stand out and which are going to stimulate more. The big key is not for us to supply the tools, but for them to click and add it themselves. This is the magic. So when you have this variety and these different angles of coming at it, they get to do themselves. They get to own themselves, claim themselves, self-prove themselves. It's very, very, very powerful. So yeah, the fullness of the program is really huge. It's a big deal. It's a very big deal.
Yeah. It's just a tough sell, for some that need it.
I agree. Well, it's the starting point to try it and see how serious are you really. Now, again, too, likely, if I, as you probably know from weight loss, almost every woman that I've ever known that's come with a weight loss issue has tried a zillion things before, and none of them worked. They may have worked temporarily, and this is your key sell point. Say, are you really serious about actually really resolving this? It's not going to work with a specific program, because likely you've done a bunch of specific programs and none of them worked, right? So we have to deal with the underlying fundamentals, which is one of the key fundamentals for weight shifting is habit management.
Yeah.
This is it. perspective shifting, habit management, discipline. These are the
Okay,
key
I want to
issues.
add something.
Yes,
ahead.
Beena.
Sorry.
Yes, Beena.
I just want to add something because for me, the problem is not in weight or weight loss or motivation, lack of motivation and all these things. For me, the problem is that not having a piece of being.
Mhm.
This is the core of the problem,
Yeah,
because when
that's
we don't
Oprah
have
right
that.
there.
Exactly, because this is the real problem. You feel that you need to be something else. This is the problem, Sue, and this is what we deal with. Okay, and what I feel that this is really interesting for me. Again, it is just my own understanding, my suggestion, which is like open to just simply say no. Um, that when people have this type of association, strong association and connectedness towards something very specific, like in this case, weight loss is a big deal. The customization of this whole course comes really amazing in that we
Mhm.
can actually customize this whole course, which starts from this thing, evolve around this, just all the terminologies and all the self-conception and everything geared towards that. But the underlying again is going to be way of impeccability. This is what still do every single time in every session, whatever just connected to you, especially. He take all these things together and gear toward that, and then moving towards that way of impeccability. From way of impeccability, going back to that. This is how this course is, and this the way this course has designed, it is something really amazing. But the problem is that some people don't have that patience, and they feel that like it is too much for me, and what I'm going to do with that.
Mhm.
Some people, they just live in that, like, okay, for her it might be like, I'm sitting on table, I'm enjoying my food, I'm going out with my friends, having whatever I want to. This is fun, and I just want to deal with that and doing that again. This is the kind of like thing happens sometimes.
Mhm.
So in this case, I think that we need to have at least 2-3 sessions before even doing that. Of course, it will take time and energy, but just to have the clarity what they are really struggling with.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because this whole course can be, because when people are stuck in some really specific, like in Rachel case, she was stuck into something very specific, and she was able to understand this whole way of impeccability, but still she was not getting it because she was so stuck into that one specific thing. She was not letting it go because she was stuck there, and they connect their ego and all these things, the self-conception, everything, to that specific.
Mhm.
So I am asking you, Sil, if we can do this real customization for someone like this whole way of impeccability. Of course, because minusing anything from this is impossible.
Yeah,
It's
but
not
how
going to
would
be
you
impeccable.
customize, isn't it, Beena?
I know that, but still, just look at a person who never had any idea of this type of moreness before in their life,
Right.
and they are struggling and stuck in one specific problem, and they want to fix that, but we want them to really fix everything in their life by themselves. How are we going to do that? Because mostly people just, they get overwhelmed by that, oh my god, the philosophy, what I'm going to do with that, I'm struggling with my weight. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear
But
you.
the problem is, it's like a ship is stuck in a Suez Canal. What are you going to do, Sil? What are you going to do, Sil?
Mhm.
So just yeah.
I'm not following why we would do anything what we normally do. We would just simply be a bit more focused in the connectivity to say,
uh,
normally
uh,
there's
uh,
in module one, session one, your intent here is to lose weight. Yes.
I'm
In order
asking
to
you.
lose weight, you need to be more committed, more focused, more disciplined. In order to be more committed, focused, and disciplined, you need to develop
See,
your impeccability, energy management, habit management. Yeah.
but still, right there, what you were saying, that you are saying that, okay, we are going to do in the model one, session one, we are going to set this intent to lose weight. And if we
Exactly.
set this intent, the whole course, okay, she might not need the attunement part. She might need something else, untitled with motivation
Right. But it's
or
all there.
commitment.
It's what I'm saying, Beena. It's just a matter of connecting it.
I know, Sil, that
Yeah.
it is all there. I just want you that is it possible to make it more obvious, more simple for someone else? I know that. I'm just asking you, can we do that? On
You mean like
surface,
not the participant? You mean for somebody outside the program?
no, of course, a participant, like, okay, potential participant Sue is recommending. So
What must I
can
make more clear? I'm a little lost here.
I'm asking you that, okay, we are going to share all the details, everything as it is in way of impeccability, but to make it with simple terms connected only to her weight loss and all these things, where she feels connection that, oh yes, this is what I'm doing. I'm psychologically changing all my behaviors and patterns and everything and dealing with all these things. But of course, underlying, we are going to do all these things, but make it a bit simpler and a bit smaller for her. Is it possible?
Sure. That's gonna come, module 1, session 1. That's what we do, clarity of intent. So as they go through that and have the intent, then we use that ongoing in the program to keep connecting it back to their intents. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what we always do, isn't it?
Still, we do that, but we do that in a very different way.
Yeah.
It's a more detailed and comprehensive details involved in that. But
They
the person we are, I was just saying that the person potentially we are looking for might not be interested and also might not be able to understand all these things.
right,
Right,
right.
but that's why I'm saying we customize on demand. I can't say ahead of time because it's not a preset program. All the
Uh-huh.
way we customize. I have to wait until I get the information from them and then I customize. But the abstract overall
Yes,
is
this
find
is
out what their deepest intent is, their deepest motivation. And this is it, not just motivation, but an intent. This is one thing to be
okay.
motivated to lose weight. It's another thing to have the intent to do so.
Exactly. So I'm asking you that, okay, instead of a 4 month or more program, I want a program less than 3 months. Okay. And also, I don't want this attunement in that because that person might not be into that. I want more focused, more simple, common,
I
today's
I I I
buzzword
I
kind of terms.
I understand, but you see, the problem is with this, and it keeps
Yeah.
coming back to it. The
Yeah.
completeness is what makes for the effectiveness. If you lose out on some of these aspects, yes, some resonate more with others, but they're all part of a bigger
Mhm.
package that gives you the ability to deal with it. Otherwise, you just go back and you don't
Okay.
have the full package of tools, and then you just
Yeah.
revert.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
But
I
okay,
don't see a way around it, Lena.
I know, but I think what Beena, correct me if I'm wrong,
Uh-huh.
Beena,
Mhm.
initially,
Mhm.
for someone who has a specific problem like weight loss, which
Yeah.
is, again, we know is connected to many, many other deeper things that need to get worked on. To say to them, go into this program and it's all about this, 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 and this, they're going to say, what is the connection? People do not make the what we know now as obvious connections. They can't make them initially. So it's finding a way, is what I hear from Beena in the beginning, to let them know simply how this can and will connect to their weight loss and why the whole program is necessary.
Yes, that's
So
why I said that in the beginning, first 1 or 2 sessions and things like that. So we
Sure.
can customize that course for them. Like, okay, if a person, okay, first I'm assuming, I might be totally wrong, but I'm just assuming, just to pretend that someone is coming, a wealthy woman, a wife of a very rich and wealthy, busy man, and she is overweight and she's struggling and she's flaunting that. Not only she is overweight, she wants to lose, but also she is using it. Okay, I might be the toughest case you have ever encountered.
mhm.
I've tried everything because she has money. She is throwing off money. And then now she's saying that. she is not going to buy anything which she might feel that this is not connected to me. Why I'm doing this?
Yeah.
She might be a very impossible kind of a person who will understand the moreness.
Yeah. How do you get around that
Yes. Yes.
pigeonhole of that,
Exactly.
the deepest immersion out of the gate, that I'm a lost cause, you're going to really struggle with this, and I'm going to give you trouble, and I know I'm a quitter, and I know I can't do this. Do you drop the ball and say, well, then I can't help you?
Oh no,
I see what
that,
Beena is
yeah,
saying. Yeah. How do you approach
I got you.
the type of people who, again, this woman apparently sounds like she does have money, that, she's tried everything, and either nobody can stick with her or she doesn't want to stick with, we don't know the background of that, but how do you really
Okay, yeah,
grab
that's what we've already been doing, actually. All that we've said in terms of how do we deal with her doubts and insecurities, we say, look, yeah, and we break it down. This is the issue. This is the problem. This is the problem underneath that. This is the problem underneath that. We go down that tree that we said, yes, the problem is commitment. What is commitment a problem of? Confidence. What is confidence a problem of? Self-trust. And so we just break that tree down. That's it. In the various places. That's all.
Okay.
That's how
Okay.
they. Oh, I
Okay.
see. Oh, I see. Oh, it's not just the weight loss is not the issue. It's the confidence that's the issue. It's the self-trust that's the issue, etc., etc.
The piece of
Just break
being.
it
Yeah.
down into the root issues of character. Very simple.
looks
Okay.
like
Okay.
That's
that's
how.
how we're going to get to the weight loss
Exactly.
results and rewards, by looking into her confidence, her piece of being, her
Character.
character, her trust,
All the
Yeah.
skills. Exactly.
the choices that
Okay.
Yeah.
So can we say that we are not dealing with a weight loss situation, but we are going to be able, okay, I'm saying from the client side, that we are going to be able to receive any treatment, anything for weight loss, and stick to that and committed to that and get result out of it, because the rules can be anything. So now we have to be really specific and clear about that we don't do that directly in the weight loss. It could be an addiction, it could be an anxiety or worry, or it could be anything, but we assist you to be someone who is able to be receptive and do whatever they want to choose in their life. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because again, like the
Exactly. So
feeling
we're
and
just
believing,
saying that there's
anxiety
more.
and
There's more
worry,
to the issue.
that could all be part of it.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
again, how do you handle, you just say, just hypothetically, you say, fine, come on into this program. It's, blah, blah, blah. Here's your price for it. Now you get into it and see, holy freaking Christ, this is all about anxiety and worry. This is all about feeling and believing. Now there's another module that needs to come in here. Do you charge her, or do you eliminate things like attunement and alignment, or, I don't know, something else?
I don't feel really it's necessary. Truly, yes, those are focused specializations, but within the context of the program, as we go, we're always bringing more into it. So we just bring it in as appropriate if they signed up for the big program, and we don't have to go and do that in specifics, but we can still go into feeling and believing and anxiety and worry. If you're dealing about your confidence and your habit management, you can just relate it to worry and anxiety as a habit, and there you go. So it's very easy to bring that stuff up without going into the specialization. All
Without
of those
going into the
programs, they
actual module.
all, yeah, they are extra bonuses if you want to do them, but they're all dependent on way of impeccability. Absolutely, yeah. It's very impossible to do those on their own. I've tried it, but it just doesn't work really. So
Okay.
after,
Okay.
not before.
If a person who is lacking in motivation, so for her or for him, this whole way of impeccability is going to include the self-trust and the anxiety and worry and the feeling and believing. And if we assume that something else is really needed, we are going to incorporate that also. Yes.
Say that again, Beena. Sorry, I missed
I'm
it.
just asking you that, okay, we are assuming that in this particular case, that someone is lacking in motivation and we are going to offer them way of impeccability, but it will include the self-trust, anxiety and worry, feeling and believing, and if anything else, which we feel is really needed, we are going to incorporate in the same amount, same course. Yes?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay. Yes. Okay, Sue.
Okay,
Uh,
so
yeah.
what if that happens? Do I then have to, if I choose to do this one by myself, I don't know if I'm going to or not, but now will I have to pay you for use of feeling and believing and, if they need access to that or, how's
It all
that gonna
depends
work?
if, yeah. I mean, it all depends if you want to charge them for it or not. I mean, if you want to do it as a bonus part of the what you want to do, sure. But I don't mind. I'm quite happy with the fluidity with the smaller ones for sure. It'd be different if it's now hearing and helping or PSP, but the smaller ones, I'm not too worried about that. I mean,
Okay.
if you want to charge them for it, sure. But if not, no, then you can
I
just
mean,
add it
how do
in.
you go back and then say, oh, we need to add another program after they're, paying almost call it $7,000.
Right.
How do you ask them for more money at that point?
Do you
Uh,
want to specialize and focus? Do you want to continue practicing? In my experience, they so enjoy the program, they don't want to stop. So they look for something to continue on because the interaction is so magical and more. The
mm,
opportunity to apply and practice and interact and have supportive community and connectivity. This is so magical. They are keen to do something more. So it don't
mhm.
matter.
But some people don't have the finances. We're
I
not.
understand. I understand. But then, if you feel that you really want to do that, then that's just a judgment call. I don't mind if you want to do more or not. That's up to you.
Mhm.
You know,
So would you
I'm
charge if somebody needed to add feeling and believing into their
I
way of
yeah, it depends if they really, really needed it and if they are able to. If not, I'll just do a simplified version on demand, as appropriate, just as part of their regular session. So yeah, it just depends on the appropriateness of it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Again, people being able to afford, there's always ways that things get done and this. So I don't worry too much about it. If it's necessary, if it's appropriate, it happens. So I
Mhm.
trust, I really do trust.
Mhm.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how things work out. I don't know. I mean, the core point of it is that if you're really dealing with the core issues and they really apply themselves, and typically the other stuff is just bonus, it's extra, it's going further. I mean, there's always more, but we are looking to really deal with a situation. If way of impeccability isn't enough and they really do need to focus on feeling and believing because they're really stuck there, fine. Then we do that and say, look, there is more that's needed. Okay. And then
Mhm.
charge as appropriate.
Yeah.
So
But what
just
is it,
appropriateness.
in the beginning, I'm a quitter. I can't stick to, is that right out of the gate, feeling and believing? Or
It might be, but it could be a confidence issue. It could just be a habit issue. So we don't know yet. That's why I like to go through the program because you really get a sense of what the real issue is. It's very hard to see. I mean, they're all connected. Beliefs are habits for the most part. So it all depends on how you deal with it. Yeah. All of these are just different aspects of dealing with the stuff we've already covered, but we don't always get it the first time round.
right.
So that's why do I have the additional stuff because it just doesn't click somehow. But I think today we spoke about something with Robin that we went back to way of impeccability, even though we're doing hearing and helping. Same points, always. It always goes back there. Always goes back there. So it's just additional stuff, really. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you do any more on anxiety and worry
Yeah,
module?
yeah, finished. It's finished. It's finished. Just now printifying and then do the audio. So yeah, it's all done. It's all done.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Oh, I'm excited. Good. Good,
Now,
good, good.
just tweaking it now, just making it nice and pretty.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Sweet.
it's all there. It's all there. Yeah, yeah.
Sweet.
Very cool. Very cool. No, I'll
Okay.
let you know as soon as it's done, as soon as it's
Sweet.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very exciting stuff. Exciting stuff.
This one here, Biala's list of, we're on, what would it be? What? Let me see what page.
Module 3.
Module 3. Uh, 4 and 5. They were kind of
Biela's list of
the list
communication
of
tips.
Biala's
Yeah, yeah,
uh, communication tips. You said
yeah.
you wanted to go
That's
through
fine.
them.
Yeah, we're going to go through them in detail. Yeah, one by one, right?
First one, relevance and pertinence. Again, for me, from a communication standpoint, it makes no sense to bring up things with another person or a client that isn't pertinent and relevant to them. And
Exactly.
it becomes ego or it
Exactly.
becomes you.
Exactly. And in this case, with this new client, that we are going to understand pertinence and relevance is situational. It's very, very hard to start connecting to pertinence and relevance ahead of time.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You're right. Until you really understand. Exactly. Exactly. You have to understand what it is that they are interested in, what they need, what motivates them. Then it becomes pertinent and relevant. Yeah.
Exactly. So we've got to
Yeah.
hear them first.
Good point. Yes.
We've got to hear them first. Always,
Yeah.
always,
Yeah.
always.
To incorporate questions. Yeah. Certainly stops you from blathering on,
Exactly.
ask them a question,
Exactly.
because it
Exactly.
stops you from kind of assuming and taking the
Ex-
lead on something that
Exactly.
could be wrong.
Now think of this in the context of actually giving a speech. You can ask questions even though you're not giving an answer. You can ask your audience a question and make space for them to think about it. Like you ask it not as a rhetorical question, like you are really asking for real. And then they said, "Oh, I never really thought of that. Now that you ask, oh, wow, wow." And then their brain starts working. So asking questions is also a mechanism for leveraging attention. It is a mechanism for perspective shifting. It is a mechanism for generating alternative awareness. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
opens up the brain, this asking of questions. Very, 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 very potent mechanism. We aren't asking for an answer. We are asking to perspective shift. We are asking to generate awareness. We're asking so that we can go a little bit deeper to make the person thoughtful. Just that, getting them into thoughtfulness mode. Wow. Oh, yeah. Oh. The
Mm-hmm.
brain is now more receptive immediately. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they have no clue what the answer. Wow, yeah, that's a good question. I never really thought of that. Yeah, what is whatever. Now they ask the question back, and it puts their brain into a different mode. They're not just listening for answers; they're asking a questions. Pertinent and relevance. We've made things completely immediately pertinent and relevant from inside the other person when we are asking this type of a question, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's different to a question in a session because we are talking about communicating here now, right? And when we are the ones that are just putting out information to then, even then, put out a question, like I said, like giving a speech, you put that question there, right? Gets them into receptivity mode.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Very fun, very fun, very fun.
Have a conversation. And again, for me, a conversation takes two people. Otherwise, you're telling,
Exactly, exactly,
um,
exactly. Yeah. I mean, even if you're the one, like with your audience, you're still having a conversation with them, right?
mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a different mode. If you think of people who are, excellent public speakers, or like the people you watch the videos on, like Kay is always saying Brené Brown, they're having a conversation. All those TEDx or TED talks, right? They're really applying these things here. Or at least I haven't watched one for a long time. I never really looked at it from this, but some of it, some of them, they're good ones. They have a conversation with you. Yeah. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Also, sorry, on this point of a conversation, if you are the one doing the public speaking, to shift the conception in your mind, I'm not doing public speaking because that's what, public speaking. I'm just having a conversation with people. I know how to converse. So instantly in the relabeling, we take away the stress and the pressure. Public speaking, what is public speaking? Typically, we tend to think I've got to perform in some way. And now it's a big mess. But if I'm having a conversation with people, I know how to converse with people. I've done this plenty times in my life. I'm just having a conversation. I've done this plenty times. Very simple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm just sharing. So the conception shift here internally is what is transformative externally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that pretty fun?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Number 4, connect to the infinite. Again, there's always more. Don't stop at definitive, kind of a thing.
Right. Right. Exactly. There is always more. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Also, the connecting to the infinite here. It's also this to really grab our interest in a deeper way. The infinite, I could just as well say the ineffable, the sublime, the profound, whatever. We want to have that bigger moreness as part of what we're doing. So that we're saying we aren't just dealing with the trivial issues of life. There's a bigger point here, a bigger issue. We are connecting to your death, your grace, your survival, your afterlife, the state of your soul, your karma, whatever. That moreness, and also this isn't just limited, it's ongoing. So we generate this deeper interest and a deeper excitement, and we harness the power of full connectivity. When we are connected to the fullness of things, that infinite, it's like you bring all of stuff. Wow, 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 cool, 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 cool. And we aren't saying that we are just basically band-aiding, right? So to connect to the infinite is the exact opposite of band-aiding. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Even if we're talking about a very specific issue, if you can make that, chopping, hammering nails, if you can connect this to the infinite, wow, you're going to give, it's like, whoa, I didn't realize there was more to hammering in nails.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there's more to everything. It just makes your topic become more listenable and
Mm-hmm.
more rememberable. Yes, more memorable. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
very, very cool. Very powerful point. Very powerful point.
Next one is utilize multiple perspectives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, duh.
Yeah.
Because what makes sense to us, I see this so often. People explain things in a way that makes sense to them. Why? Because they already know the facts and evidence, and they just neglect to communicate to others that this is something. And then it's like, but you don't get it because it's so obvious to me. But what's obvious to me, not to others. So this shifting multiple perspectives just says in your language, your words, your perspective, your world.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it aids
Very
ultimately to
cool.
better choices. The more
Exactly, exactly,
perspective
exactly,
you have.
exactly, exactly.
Regulate and level of immersion.
There you go.
Regulate the level of immersion. Yeah.
Right, right,
Uh,
right. So I can suck you in, and I've got you really deeply immersed. But this takes energy, and I know this. So I relent a little bit. I back up, and we kind of I get a chance for overview perspective to come in because we've been immersed in immersion, right? So now the overview perspective cements it all, makes it abstract. I give the opportunity for this to happen, and now you've got your abstract conceptions. You've filed it into your dictionary of power. Okay, we go back into the immersion again, and then you go out and in, out and in. It's very, very, very important, very, very necessary.
yeah. Yeah. So cue the people appropriately to immerse with you and then zoom out and then go back
Exactly,
in and repeat.
exactly, exactly. Just regulate it because otherwise you just overwhelm them with too much emotion. You'll see this in movies too. They'll get you all involved in the action, and then there'll be a little bitty break, and then it's something in between happens, and then you go back in again. It's just part of the dynamics of how we are. So
Uh, Find a comfort level.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they have to be comfortable.
Exactly. And if you're not comfortable, you're going to cue them and then they won't be. So you standing on that stage, you have to find your comfort level. Do I feel that I am entitled to speak about this? Yes, I am. It's my opinion. I can talk about it. No problem. Find the comfort level. Am I an expert on this? No. Do I need to be an expert? No, because I'm sharing my opinion. Okay, I'm sharing. Why am I sharing my opinion? Because it's interesting. I'm showing what a weirdo I am. Is this justified? Yes, it makes the topic interesting. Okay, I'm comfortable, whatever. I'm comfortable sharing because I'm a weirdo. I'm comfortable sharing because I have expertise. So find your comfortable level. So very important. Same for them. Are they comfortable being for instance, I'm broken. Is most people comfortable with this? No. Are some comfortable with it? Yes. So we want to shift to somebody being in a situation. They don't want to be thought of as a student. I'm not some novice rookie. I'm a grandmother already. I'm in my mature years. I'm not some teenager. So they have to find a comfort level. Okay, so I'm sharing. We are going into more stuff. We are redoing. Okay, they need to be comfortable with whatever the relationship is, the environment, the situation. It's very, very important. But you too, both need to find the comfort level. Yeah.
Yeah, very true. Pay attention to the body. Again, there's a lot of cues that come out of that to they're troubled, they're confused, they're thinking whatever it is that need to be paid attention
right. So this is for the main focus of this is on the us as the outgoing. So yes, we are paying attention to the other's body, but pay attention to your own body when communicating.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, the focus of this list is on us as the outgoing communicator. Because when, let's say, you're talking to an audience, I can't be paying attention to everybody's body. Yes, the mass of the audience, if I see people start to fidget and shift just in general, well, I know I'm a little off here. I'm getting into awkward stuff. Is this supposed to be awkward? Yes. Or if they're starting to get restless or start whispering to each other, and okay, I'm losing their attention. But that's the main key here is to my own body. I need to be comfortable. I need to be at ease. If my body's not comfortable with something, maybe my body's picking up that the audience is uncomfortable with this, and I have to shift, or I have to be more gentle with it, or elaborate a bit more, whatever. So yeah, just put your body as part of all of the factors, your own body of all of the factors of things you're paying attention to. Yeah.
All right. Mm-hmm. Be strategic. Again, of course. Like again, talking about this woman today. It's a strategy instead of going in it blindly. You have to know your audience. Know
Exactly.
your audience and
Exactly.
plan.
Always, exactly. Always we have to be strategic. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
10, deliberately utilize habit and routine. Yeah. I think that's a perfect example of this program. And what we talked about before is more so deliberately sticking to that habit or the routine of the program. Otherwise, everybody's all over the place.
Yeah. Exactly. So if I'm the one who's talking again, I utilize my own habits and routines to say, once I've got things down, I can be more comfortable because I've already got a pre-established habit and routine here. So I know in this case, I'm going to rely on that, which means I free up my mind to be appropriate and flexible. Again, dealing with the client. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I'm not seeing it from me until you keep saying this.
Right. That's why I want to shift this. But it's nice that you saw it from the client point of view. We can deliberately utilize their habits and routines. This is fantastic. Also, yes, but it's both ways now. But to see this as in this instance, we want to do it for ourselves as well. But yes, to utilize the habits and routines of the client, because you're thinking client, but again, if it's an audience, well, they're the habit and routine. They come in, they expect an introduction, sit down, listen. So if you delay that, if you break that, you're going to run into trouble. Yeah. So if you're dilly-dallying up there, reading your notes, if you're taking a long time to get going, but it's our own habits and routines that we want to utilize as an energy management technique and mechanism.
Right. When we have our own, I certainly know when I have my own little rhythm, my own plan, when somebody comes in, you feel more comfortable because then otherwise I get discombobulated and then they're like, what is, do you know what you're doing?
Exactly.
Even with somebody sitting in the chair, they get in the chair, they lean back. I put the pillow underneath them. I give them the blanket, put the towels down, set my boom. Otherwise, I'm like, oh, turn around, going, oh, I forgot the gel. Oh, I forgot my gloves. Yeah, I have
right. So to deliberately utilize habit and routine You now know that you are doing this deliberately, right? And when you are aware that you're doing it deliberately, it gives the client a great comfort because, oh, this is a habit and a routine, which means Sue's done this many times before. And so, oh, wow, if you've done this many times before, you're obviously competent. See, very simple implication to a habit and routine. Plus, of course, you settling your own mood, your own mind. Now you're developing trust right there through deliberate usage of habit and routine. You are generating trust and confidence and ease, and you're giving them space to settle down as you get into your comfort zone, into your power zone. So it's a very cool thing to deliberately utilize habit and routine. Very, very, very powerful.
Mm-hmm. Be aware of vocabulary and associations. And again, I mean, how could they not be fabulous communication tips?
Yeah.
You don't
Exactly.
want to
Exactly.
use inappropriate
Exactly.
words or conceptions or make
Exactly.
associations that are
Exactly.
opinionated. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Also, specifically of vocabulary, you go in different audience, different people, different words mean different things to different audiences, to different people. So we need to be aware of this, like perfection. In certain, like especially in religious communities, this is a very negative term. You can't be perfect; it's impossible. You start off as a sinner. So perfection has a very negative association. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Again, to be a sinner is not, you go into a Catholic community, oh, okay, no problem. You go into an agnostic, hippie culture or whatever, come on, I'm no sinner. So simple things that be aware of this vocabulary that you may take it for granted that it is a meaningless thing, but for others, it's a big deal. It's a very big deal. They have radically different associations with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Quite amazing. It's quite amazing that really. I really try to pay attention to the words that I use and see how different people relate to those and when they're sensitive and when they're not, because it's so often they take it exact opposite of how you mean it.
Yeah. Yeah.
A bit tricky. A bit tricky.
12, intend your communications, be clear, specific, and precise with your intent. Yeah, certainly from a facilitator standpoint, I have to know and trust that I'm going to communicate properly.
Yeah.
And specifically, again, like let's take this weight loss woman. I don't want to be talking about a 2-minute alignment, for the day if that has nothing connected to her also. So clarity and specificity and precision in that intent is critical. Ken, you know, is really listening, the intent to really listen to her in order to get a strategy going, a business strategy going for this woman to help her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That's it. That's all I would say. I'm just agreeing. It's very, very potent when we have that ability to be so clear. The other reason to be clear with our intent, if I'm communicating externally, like again, giving a speech, and I know precisely what it is that I intend to achieve, everything now is very simple when it comes to remembering. What am I doing? Oh, yes, this is what I'm doing. And then I don't have to rely so much on memory and the exact sequence. Same with the client. If I know exactly what I'm going to do, I can trust my ability to be appropriate and to adapt because I know exactly what it is that I am trying to do. So it makes us more functional, more effective, more efficient because we are leveraging pertinence and relevance through clarity of intent. Yeah.
More functional and efficient. Tap into what you want to communicate.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess that has to come off of the last one, from your strategy, so you can be functional and efficient, and pertinent and relevant. You got to know what you want to
Yeah,
communicate to them.
yeah, yeah. The emphasis here is know what you want to communicate. It's a want. So if I am sharing something, let's say I'm doing again, I'm making a speech. If I want to share the power of this, my point is how magical sharing is. This is something I feel deeply about. This is something that is important to me. So I want to communicate this, makes it easy, right? Try and share something in detail about something that you don't want to communicate. I don't want to be talking about, I don't know, whatever my, private, intimate stuff. I don't want to share and communicate this. So I'm awkward, I'm uncomfortable. But if it's something that I really want to communicate, it makes it very easy. I have the desire. Take anybody who's got something to say. When they want to communicate it, they feel motivated and eager and excited. Boy, they can talk about it, no problem. Yeah. So it's to leverage our ability to communicate. Find out what
It
you
becomes
want to
easier to
communicate. Talk about that. Yeah.
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 Sharing
What you're
becomes
passionate
much
about.
easier when you
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
be
It's just so simple that when we just shift this to talking about stuff that we want to talk about, it changes everything. It leverages us. It's so easy to talk about it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Take the most reluctant speaker and say, what do you really want to talk about? What do you want to share with the world? What's really important to you? Oh. And boom, the next thing, wow, they're so thankful for this opportunity to talk about the thing that they want to talk about. Other than
Mhm.
that, it's a chore.
Mhm.
Yeah. Just leverage, really.
Yeah, I think that's in the case of public speaking more so.
Right, right.
When you have a passion about what you're talking about, not that you can't have that in with a client. What's tripping me up is, uh, I want to communicate something, but is it what they need? I, I got to make sure that that's in the equation, and what I want is a passionate subject that I can easily communicate. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So now we are looking at this from a different angle. We are saying what I want is to be appropriate. What I want is to be pertinent and relevant. What I want is to be connected to them. So I shift my wants to that of service. So now I don't have specific agendas, which is my capital H sharing. Whatever I share is always about pertinence and relevance and appropriate to the bigger goal, to their intent. This is my center column. Their intent, what they want. I'm just assisting you. What I want to do is to be of assistance. So now it becomes very simple. So anything I share is always generated from them because I want to be
Correct.
of service, to be of assistance.
Mhm.
It's very simple. Yeah, very powerful too. I mean, somebody sees that what you want is really to assist them. This is an incredible thing. Very, very powerful, right?
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Mhm.
Very, very, very powerful. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool.
14, be clear about your focused idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, I
Yeah.
think that goes back to appropriateness and pertinence and relevance and a center column, you know.
Exactly. Exactly. But there are times when we get to the spot where we are sharing something that is a focused idea. And like today, I was making a lot of effort to be clear about my focused idea with Robin.
Mhm.
It's a very tricky and a very subtle idea here that I'm focused on. This shift in her to move out of this learning seeking, I want answers from everybody and being taught mode into, hey, I'm applying myself. Yes, I like to get stuff elsewhere, but I don't need it. It's not my only option. So I'm really making every effort. I'm super clear on what it is, but I'm trying to make that clear to Robin. Now, of course, it's a tricky issue, so it's a little bit harder in this case, but it's getting there slowly but surely. Because I can't really say it directly because then I'm being counterproductive. You know, if you're trying to get somebody to be confident about themselves, the one thing you can't say is that you need confidence, you lack confidence.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Making the effort to have more clarity and focus on an issue for the client.
Yes, 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 yes. And again, in my mind, I need to be clear about whatever my focused idea is. If I'm not clear about it, I'm going to have trouble communicating, especially in the moment. Sometimes we have to step back and say, give me a moment. What is it? And then get that real clarity and then go back in again. Yeah, yeah. Because we can be clear about the overall intent, but the focused ideas, they come up in the moment sometimes. Yeah.
Good example, Robin flying her own plane. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Uh, 15, utilize mystery to create interest. I guess that's through
Yeah.
asking questions. Can create.
Exactly. And also just to bring up something that is like, maybe just hypothetical sometimes, make it a little bit mysterious and just tell a story. So just bringing a bit of fun into it, say.
Mhm.
Which really utilizing maybe and possibly and could be, which, oh yeah, maybe what about if things work this way, just alternative perspectives, but when you bring that in, it just makes it fun. Because we like mysteries, for at least for the most part, it gets the brain working. We are leveraging attention. Some people don't like mysteries, but still you get their brain working to resolve it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Pretty marvelously cool.
Yeah. Employ analogy and metaphor. Mhm. Mhm.
It's huge because you can say it directly and somebody doesn't get it. You say it is an analogy or a metaphor in some way. Oh, a parable. Oh, that's it. Oh, I get it now. And vice versa. Sometimes people don't click on analogies and the metaphors. They need it really spelled out. So, but the both combined, it's very powerful because the one utilizes right brain, the other one uses left brain. We want both of those brains involved.
Mhm.
Very, very powerful. I mean, right there, I did that by saying right brain and left brain.
Mhm.
Right? I mean, they kind of an analogy for saying it, in a just hello, Sue. Hello, Sue. Hello, Sue.
I was just writing. Okay.
Problem. Just enjoying you. Just enjoying you. Yes, he's so intense and focused.
Yeah, I don't know why. Uh,
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
maintain a connection to the abstract.
Mm.
Again, I think it's like another perspective. It helps them with another perspective.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes. Always know where the surface is. That's our bigger picture. That's our surface. That's when we in scuba diving know where the surface is, that abstract. It just makes that connectivity that allows us to see the fullness and share the fullness so we don't get lost in the band aid. That's the problem with band aids. There's no connection to the mourners, the bigger picture, to tools that you can use in any situation. Whenever we are dealing, like Robin, we're talking about our father the weekend, but we need to connect to the abstract to say, in a different situation, how would you utilize this? With your brother, your half brother, whatever, or completely at work, whatever. The abstract is what connects the individual specific circumstances, right? It
mhm.
is the abstract is what enables the ability to adapt from one situation to another. the thing that's common between two different situations. That's the abstract. Right, Beena? Beena, where'd you go? Beena's retreated into the abstract.
Okay.
This one point, this abstract point, it is absolutely the one of, not one of the most core thing that we do. We are providing you tools which are abstract tools, which means they are the thing that is common in your different situations of application. And we need to point out this so that they can have this confidence that the thing that resolved the situation wasn't the specific words you said to auntie to get her to stop fasting. No, it was the technique you applied. You applied perspective shifting, you applied mood management, etc. That you can apply next time with uncle, and he's got a different thing. It does not. So you don't trust your specific solutions. You don't trust the band-aid. You trust your ability to apply first aid to remedy disease, etc. So this is a very big deal, but we need to make the client, the participant, we need to make them aware of what it is they were actually doing in the bigger sense, not the specifics, right? That's where the confidence comes from. You don't really get confidence in solving a particular circumstance because you know it's never going to replace, it's never going to repeat. I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's huge for our confidence, right? And also for us to get into the ability whenever we do solve a problem to say, what's the abstract here? What can I use in a similar situation next time? Yeah. I
Yeah, the
think this will say again, Sue?
yeah, the commonality to a
The
different
commonality.
situation.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. Exactly. That underlying essence that I can apply similar situation. This is what gives me confidence. Yeah. Once I understand those abstract tools, then I can say, I don't care. Okay, this client's different to that client, but in the abstract, they're all doing the same thing. They all got a problem. They all got a situation, a solution. You know, they're all dealing with habits and routines and whatever, moods. And so this is our tools in Wave Impeccability. They're all abstract tools that apply in pretty much any situation. That's why it doesn't matter if the issue is weight loss or stress and anxiety or whatever it may be, depression. Who cares? It's all the same underlying stuff at the end of the day.
Yeah.
This is the magic of Way of Impeccability. It's really, really something different. Every other program, it always deals with your specifics. They never deal with the tools that allow us to deal with pretty much any problem.
Yeah. It's funny. You talk about that, for years, I'm like, this is like the same, like 2, 3 problems in
Exactly.
everyone,
Exactly.
the biggest one
Exactly.
was
Exactly.
self-confidence and self-love.
Exactly.
I'm like, wow,
Exactly.
they could
Exactly.
dance around that and call it this, and it can show up in this clothing,
Exactly.
but it's all the same damn thing.
Exactly. And really pay attention to those. I would actually kind of make a little list of, even if it's a very short list, of the commonality between all your clients.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then it's so simple, and then we can always, that's our center call. We just know those are the same 3 problems or whatever. It's always the same issues. Exactly. And this is why habit comes into it. Almost always, whatever the issue is, the problem with change is habit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can certainly see that with the weight loss situation, the habits of improper
It's
eating,
the
improper
premier. It's the premier problem.
exercise. Yeah. And you get into that spin and you think it's the right thing because it even sounds good. I know for me, that's certainly what one of
Older people gaining weight. Yes, of course, they're exercising less. But even if they are still exercising, one of the core things is a simple habit of using the same portion that you used before. It's a simple habit. I'm so used to eating, 2 slices of toast. And to shift to the habit of eating 1.5, this is difficult because who makes half a slice of toast? Now I have to go to 1 slice. It's too big a jump. So I don't want to eat too little because then I'm hungry. So I eat too much and I'll pick up weight. It's incredible. I mean, this toast exercise is a very, very particular one. No, sometimes you do need to eat a slice and a half of toast. That's very difficult for some people to do, or a slice and a quarter. Your mind just goes against it. Yeah, what I do with the other part,
Mm-hmm.
that's a problem to deal with, but it's very important. Or okay, then if you can't eat one slice only, eat a slice of toast and something else that you can substitute. That's the equivalent of a half a slice or a
About half.
quarter slice of toast.
Right.
It's a big deal. It's a very big deal. Simple thing, boy, but man, it's transformative.
Mm-hmm.
We don't even think half the time. I fill up my cereal bowl. I do it the way I've done it for all my life, to that exact level. But no, I don't need that much. I have to do less. And I have to do this consciously and deliberately, because I don't even think by the time I've poured it, put my milk in, it's already too much. And it's too
Mm-hmm.
late. What do? I can't waste. For me, I really struggle not to waste. How many of us were, beaten literally to finish your plate, right? And also, if you weren't physically beaten, you were said it's a sin. Think of all those starving children in Africa or in India or wherever. Finish your meal, right? It goes against every part of us to
Yeah.
waste food on our plate. So we finish. Habit again. So don't do it in the first place. Make your portion less. Sorry to go off on this, but since we're talking about weight loss and
Yeah.
habit
Yeah.
management,
No,
it's a big
absolutely.
point. It's a very useful point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So again,
No,
growing up in a house full of women has made me very acutely aware of dieting and weight loss. Yeah.
mhm. Says the man who never had to diet. Yes.
Not, I do now. I do now. I need to delumpify now. I never used to before, but I do need to now. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. No, no, no. So I'm applying all of these things now.
Okay. Good.
Another thing is, time of day to eat. If
Yeah.
you can just shift that a little bit later, that's very useful. And that's what I'm doing now. I could have eaten earlier, but I'm deliberately delaying it till after we finish. I don't need to eat now. I can delay it a little bit. But in the meantime, I'm burning, especially if I'm now going to use my same portion, so yeah, so I'm doing that.
Mm-hmm.
It's very useful, all of this now. I guess it's the universe saying time to apply. Yes, I know you like to think your chest slipped, but no, sorry, you've just put on a bit of weight. It's not the chest slip issue. Actually, I've got a bit of a distended belly, which is more of a gas issue than it is a weight issue.
Mhm.
It's made me expand a bit. I don't know really what the solution is, so.
Mhm. Well, it depends on there's a lot of foods that cause flatulence more so
Yeah,
than
it's more the I think it's a
bacteria too.
prostrate. I think it's actually more of an actual literal technical issue. At this age, the prostate gets a bit bigger, and then it just makes release a little bit more tricky, and that's really the bottom line.
Mm, mm,
Very simple, man.
hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. It's very interesting. It's mechanical, not psychological. So the
That's
universe may be
what it
telling me, "Hey, don't be such an uptight,"
Yeah, yeah,
You gotta relax a little bit. Yeah.
yeah.
You can have fun with it all, right? May as well. May
You're
as well.
young for prostate issues, though.
Maybe. I don't know. It just seems that way. It may just be because I sit a lot and it's just aggravating, that pressure there a little bit. So could be.
Could be.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, could be. 18 is ask the question, how does this make a difference? Why does it matter?
Hmm.
Again, I think it just makes their brain open up a little bit more. And
Yeah. For us, though, outgoing, when I'm about to say something and I ask this question, how does this make a difference? Why does it matter? Half the time, your mouth just closes back up again. Oh, it's not going to make any difference. It doesn't matter. Okay, shut up then. If I
that's
apply those questions to myself, right? Yeah,
oh.
something comes up in me. I'm about to say something, and then I ask those questions. How does this make a difference? Why? Oh, it doesn't. Okay, shut up. If it's not going to make a difference, if it's not going to matter, shut up. Okay, I could say, how does it make a difference? Well, it's entertaining. It's fun. It's making a difference in that I'm now relieving that pressure of intensity. See, the thing in itself might not make a difference, but it could make a difference in just energy management, mood management. Ah, very cool. Yeah, yeah. All right. Remember that we said a little bit earlier to shift the level of absorption. Just of immersion. So there are all sorts of ways. There are many different ways in which things can make a difference and matter. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
You know, it could be the thing in itself is complete just nonsense. It's just bit of nincompoopry, but it could just be reassuring. It just could be familiarity. It just could be communication, connection. Hey, you know what? I hear you. I've been there myself. So yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I didn't think of it from the facilitator standpoint. I just
Yeah.
thought,
Yeah.
you're asking somebody, does this make a difference?
Ask
Or
them.
does this
Yeah.
really matter?
That's it.
You're making them think, but that's not the
Yeah.
process here.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. This is for us. This is for us. We're leveraging ourselves for a change here, because keep in mind what is our bigger aim here. Our center column is capital diplomacy. Yes, so this enables us to be a bit more diplomatic. All of these things, yes, because we are enhancing our communication. In order to apply capital diplomacy, I need to be able to externally, outgoingly communicate. It's no use me trying to be diplomatic and my communication is just jumbled and garbled, or I'm too intense, or I'm too mellow, I'm too chill and relaxed. You see some people like they can hardly be bothered to say a word, and it's like this is just their style. I'm Otto and I'm always blotto. That style doesn't really work for capital diplomacy. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, no, it says my name is Otto and I like to be blotto. Homer Simpson, the school bus driver in The Simpsons.
Don't watch
Oh,
it, but go ahead.
okay. Well, anyway, his
Don't
name is
connect
Otto.
to
I
that
don't.
at all. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, never mind. But still, I'm just using the stereotype to
Yeah.
illustrate that. We need to be able to communicate efficiently, effectively, and adaptively in order to apply capital D diplomacy. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
In other words, it's no good having the paint as a painter if you don't have the appropriate brushes.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
our communication here is the ability to have a bunch of different brushes in our arsenal. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
So these are all brushes. Yeah. Yeah.
So 19, be happy and joyful, have fun. Yeah, I think to leverage ourselves to have that fun, and then they will, even in tough situations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, it's when somebody is happy and having fun, they can get away with a lot more inaccuracy and roughness and wildness. In the capital diplomacy, they have a lot of greater forgiveness than somebody who's trying to be all precise and exact and exact, right? I mean, your bureaucrat, when they're so exact, they're very. But you go to a bureaucrat who's been all happy and fun. It's like, wow, this is a different experience. Even though they're trying to, get you to do your taxes and penalize you or whatever. Yeah. Just a lot easier to be diplomatic when we're having fun and we are joyful. It's amazing. It's amazing how what a
Especially, like
tool
you
this
said, through
is. Wow.
tougher situations, it makes it a little bit easier
Exactly.
to
And
follow.
again, let's go back to our public speaking thing. If I'm happy and joyful and I'm having fun, does it really matter how good I am at giving speeches? No, it doesn't. Yeah. It's amazing how that leverages communication. And who do you want to listen to? The miserable person or the happy and joyful person who's having fun?
Mhm. The joyful. Mhm.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Show your good character. And again, if I show my integrity and ethics and morals, it's just going to
Exactly.
cue them.
Exactly. The emphasis here was show, not just be it, but show it. Sometimes we have to make overt demonstrations of this. Yeah. For your routine, when your client comes there, you are showing your consideration of them. You are paying precise, fine, exact detail attention to their comfort. Yes, to settle them in, to make sure they are comfortable, to give them space to acclimatize. You're not rushing them, etc. You are showing your good character. Okay, very delicately, yeah, very subtly, but nonetheless, it's there.
Mhm.
It's there. It's there.
Mhm.
It's there. Sometimes we have to be very overt and very deliberate. We have to say, look, integrity is my number one issue. This is something we have to really spell it out sometimes. So, yeah, but we have to demonstrate it too. So, show.
Mhm.
Sorry, I mean to say that this showing our good character might go against our innate modesty and humility, but sometimes we have to put it out there so that somebody could be aware of it. Because if you don't, then they're not, and that's very important. Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm. Maintain a connection to appropriateness at all times.
Hmm.
I mean,
It's like the.
yeah.
Now, the reason why we do this from our point of view, from a facilitator speaker point of view, is that if I have a connection to appropriateness, this is like I've got a safety harness that I'm holding on to. You know, I'm standing on the train and it's rocking around. I'm on this wild ride, but I'm holding on to the safety harness. That's appropriateness because I'm always connected to it. I know I've got an option that can help me out should I get a little bit stuck or muddled or go off a sidetrack. I just focus. Oh, what's appropriate? Oh, okay, back I am, and I'm never lost. In other words, right? So it's this Linus blanket. Our connection to our appropriateness is our Linus blanket. It gives us lots of comfort and security, especially in the face of the unknown, right? I mean, again, for appropriateness, I need to know what I'm doing. So I have my clarity of intent and I'm aware of the context. Between those two, I can figure out what's appropriate. No problem. Very simple. Very, very simple. Same thing with a new client that's coming. I have the clarity of intent. What are we trying to do here? Well, I don't know specifically yet, but I'm going to find out. But I know my clarity of intent is I want to assist the client in getting resolution for whatever is their issue. Right? That's it. So I'm very clear what I'm going to do. The context is okay through a program, through a course, through interaction, whatever. But I'm very clear what I'm going to do. I'm here to assist you to get what you want. Now, what you want and what what you think you want, what you really want, okay, I'm going to assist you to get really clear. And that's my task initially in this thing, like we said, to be really clear. Okay, weight class, yes, but it needs more, it's more. Okay, cool. And these are bonus things that will help you even after you've lost the weight. So they just extra, almost everybody wants to self-improve in some way. So this extra bonus. But again, that connectivity to appropriateness at all times, very simple. Know what you're doing. Have that clarity of intent. But it's always a hierarchical thing. There's the super overview abstract. Our intent is to be of service. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. From there, it just gets more and more specific. The overview intent to be of service.
Mm-hmm.
At least in the context of our client participant and in the capital D diplomacy, say, yes, we are also being of service. We are being in service of consideration. We are being in service to nobility. We are being service of care, fluidity, smoothness, efficiency, all the stuff, right? We are being in service. Capital D diplomacy is being in service to moreness, no? Yeah, but particularly consideration. Capital D diplomacy is excessive consideration. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Or you could say kindness if you want to, you know, beauty, even niceness, no matter. Very cool. Very, very, very cool. Very cool.
22, leave space for randomness and creativity.
Mike Tyson logic. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, in the SEALs, you've probably seen in many of these management books and coaching, self-help based around the SEAL team philosophy and their rules. And one of them is plan, prepare as much as you possibly can. One thing that you are preparing for is the fact that the plans don't go as planned. So they prepare for randomness and creativity. They prepare for it. They're ready for it. When it strikes, they just do. They have that connection to appropriateness and they implement, they adapt, they shift, they change. They don't get all discombobulated because your plan is all suddenly shot to hell because you now got smacked in the mouth. That's it. Have a contingency plan, have the ability to be flexible, adaptable, appropriate. It is unbelievably potent to have this leave space. If you're too precise, you get stuck. Again, you've got your habit and your routine. Leave space for randomness and creativity. So the customer says, oh, I can't stand sitting on a pillow and, my whatever, or I need a second pillow, a third pillow, whatever. You need to have that openness to your routine getting disrupted. Yes?
Right.
In other words, we make routine disruption part of our routine. Yeah? So I'm doing the same thing, but I'm adapting it and adjusting it every time as pertinent and relevant. That's my routine, to be flexible and adjustable, to customize my opening, settling in routine to the client. This is my routine, making them comfortable. Abstract again, not the details. I'm flexible on the exact details. Yeah. More or less, I got my routine, but they're always flexible, always flexible.
Mhm. Don't forget the technical.
Right. I mean, literally, you need to have your pen and paper to take notes. That's a technical issue, right? Or your microphone or whatever it is, to hit record. This is it. Just remember there are technical stuff involved. Your laser pen or the battery's charged or whatever. Just using for example, yeah, as best I can. But it's very simple. We can get so focused on what we're doing in the abstract that we neglect those little technical things, and they are important. For me, in this case, when we're doing the sessions, to hit record, it's an important thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Identify your passion and let it out.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I think letting people know, I mean, you do it all the time, how
Exactly.
interested you are and passionate about helping others. And it's a big
Being of
deal.
service. I'm also passionate about learning. So it's like, wow, you said, I'm curious. I always share my curiosity. I want to know. This is my passion. I like to learn. I'm curious. I'm inquisitive. It's a big passion. I want to know what's going on with you. Again, my passion is learning, curiosity, growing, awareness, understanding. My passion is understanding. Oh, discernment. I'm very passionate about discernment, sophistication. Yeah, let out that passion. Let out that passion. Again, it's motivation leveraging. Yeah, so we can find out really what people are passionate about. We get to understand what motivates them.
Mhm.
Again, weight loss, it might not be a health issue, but a self-image issue, might be a status issue, that they're embarrassed to go out because they're overweight. That's the leverage point. They couldn't care two hoots about their health. It's not a leverage point. For you, Sue, it is a leverage point, but for others not. So, same issue, different motivation. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Or they want to get married. They couldn't, they just want to get married and then they'll go back to being overweight.
Mhm.
Just to understand the motivation point.
Yeah.
Very important. Very important. But for ourselves too, when we're dealing with a client, if we can identify our passions and have those merge with the passions of the client, whoa, they are passionate about what's important to me. Wow, dang, this is huge.
Mhm.
This is
Mhm.
huge, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
That pretty cool. I think you do this very well, Sue. By the way,
Thanks.
do this
Yeah.
innately, automatically.
Yeah. I don't think I have to think too much about it because I
You're
am
very passionate about what you do. You're very passionate about the being of service. You're very passionate about being of assistance. And it's very clear. It's very obvious. This is why people love you and why they come to you.
Mhm. Thanks.
I mean, you're passionate about learning more things,
Mhm.
bringing more new techniques, new avenues of learning. They see you are deeply passionate in being of real service, not pretending to be of service, but to actually be of service.
Mhm.
Big difference. Big,
Yeah.
big, big difference.
Yeah.
I'm
One
going
of
to
the
keep going and figure
testimonials.
out whatever it takes. We are going to resolve this.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the testimonials of one of my clients was the fact that, not only do I hear them, listen to them, and so forth, is that I'm always improving myself and
Exactly.
learning more to pass on to them.
Exactly.
And I like that.
Exactly. Exactly. You're very passionate about what you do. And you communicate that passion, which is very cool. You do let it out, in other words.
Hmm. Hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
25, communicate. Remember, this is the objective, not performance.
Right. Right. So in the context of this list here, there are communication tips rather than, client interaction tips. and that this is what we are trying to do. We are trying to communicate. And when we are in the context here of, we are using this in the context of capital diplomacy rather than in the context of capital H hearing, right? I mean, we're so deep into that mode. But here we are absolutely in the mode of capital diplomacy, that we need to communicate, which is a two-way interactive thing, right? We aren't there to perform. Like, and again, when you are needing to say something, okay, I got to call the meeting to order. All right, husband and wife, I'm here to arbitrate in your the divorce settlement. I have to communicate and say, I'm not there to perform and show how good an arbitrator I am. No, I'm here to communicate and to engage in communication. It's very, very powerful, very simple thing. Or okay, again too, in the context of our coaching, most coaches think that that their objective is to coach, not to communicate. You can coach all you like and do all your stuff. If you're not communicating with the client, they're not going to hear a word you're saying, and all your stuff is completely wasted, right?
Mhm.
So the capital H hearing is precisely that, because we are so entrenched to just putting out stuff, outgoing only, that we are unable to communicate most of the time, because it's not always appropriate. It's disconnected. It's not taking the other person into consideration. In order to truly communicate, we need to be able to capital H hear, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
I
you got.
mean, communication though also means that we need to be able to speak.
Hmm.
It's not
Yeah.
just
So it's
hearing.
outgoing and incoming.
Correct.
You've got to.
Communication is the skill of both. Correct. So for capital diplomacy, this is especially necessary, because what we are doing is really trying to share an idea, an understanding, and awareness that is foreign to the person. Why is it foreign? Because if they were aware of it, at least in that moment, they wouldn't be inappropriate, and we wouldn't need capital diplomacy. So we need to be excessively skilled at communication in order to be capital diplomatic. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
Very cool. Very cool.
Be as intensely personal as possible.
Why? Why? So this is, I've got skin in the game. I understand where this is coming from. I'm not adverse to being vulnerable. So it just makes for greater connectivity. When there's greater connectivity, there's greater communication. Yes. Now, as possible, sometimes it's wholly inappropriate to share a personal anecdote or to say this is a personal issue. So it's only as possible. But usually, in most situations, this is vitally useful. Again, go to TED Talks, right? Because that's one-way communication. Because we are looking now at the outgoing. Primarily, this list is about focusing on the outgoing communication. Those TED Talks, those people are always as intensely personal as possible. I don't know if it's one of their rules or not, but I'm just using TED Talks as an example because we're familiar with it. Yeah. I don't actually watch very many of them, by the way, and I didn't watch any before when I made this list up. So,
Hmm.
but I do see it in the bits that I see here and there now, right? I suspect that TED, when they train you, and you can ask Diane, probably, and I'm very keen to hear, by the way, when she gets closer to hear a bit more detail if
Yeah,
she's
she
willing to
comes
come on and
this
chat with you.
Saturday, so I haven't spoken to her in a month, at
She's
least.
doing a talk this Saturday.
No, 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 no. She comes to see me for a session on
Oh,
Saturday.
good. Oh, good. So bring it up, because I am keen to follow up on that. It's very interesting to learn about. I'm very
Hmm.
keen. I mean, I
Yeah.
wouldn't mind sharing this list with her and see how much of this overlaps with it, because
Hmm.
they really do train you beforehand. I'll be very keen to see the overlap.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. I'll
Yeah,
ask
yeah,
her.
yeah.
27, be earnest.
The magic bullet. I mean,
Yeah.
if there's one thing you want to remember, just be honest. If you have any doubts about your abilities to communicate, be honest. It will always get you there. Right, Beena? What do you think about that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, when in
And
doubt,
you
be
are,
honest.
you are an earnest person.
Right, right.
Hercules.
But this is Ernest with an A. Don't be earnest. I don't know. I forget what his last name is, but there was like a comedy show thing of the guy whose name was
Oh,
Ernest,
yes.
a complete knucklehead. I'm talking about
Oh, no.
Sue.
Don't know that
It's
one.
like this hillbilly guy, and he would do all stupid things. Ernest, his name was Ernest Vaughn.
Oh, yeah. With the real
Don't be
pretty
that
wife.
Ernest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying don't be that Ernest. To be Ernest with an A.
Got ya.
But he was pretty good at his show, though. I gotta give him, in the context of what he did, he was pretty effective. Yeah.
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 Hercules. Thank you. Last one is practice. It quickly leads to confidence.
This is so crucial. This is so crucial. When I first started doing the workshops, I invited a few friends to come and do the workshops. I never did anything like that before. All it needed was just 1 or 2 sessions of practice. It's so quick how you shift, because you've got ideas, but you just need to implement to get that confidence. Oh, this is working. Yes, my ideas are solid. Okay. And now I have that self-proof. Especially for me, it's very important. I try not to believe my ideas. I like to have that self-proof. And so that's it. That practice, it's incredible, the shift in your, I don't know, I'm not sure. Practice a bit, and then okay, life is easy. With practicing new techniques. Yeah, the first time you do this new thing that you've learned, you're not quite sure. I need you to do it 3 or 4 times. Okay, that's it. I got it now. Thanks. Next. Right, Sue?
Absolutely.
And that's one thing that you do. You do practice stuff.
Yeah.
All sorts of different stuff. And it's led to your confidence in general.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just do it. Try it. Whatever.
Exactly. And I've never laid a wooden floor before that's tongue and groove or whatever. Okay, I laid 3, 4 floorboards. Okay, I've practiced on those few. Okay, I might need to rip them up and start over again. But that's it. Once I've practiced, I'm good to go. Practice is so critical. It actually changes our perception of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Before we've practiced, we see the world in a certain way, and we have doubts and fears and anxieties and all sorts of stuff. You practice once, the world shifts 2, 3, 4 times. Once you got it down, okay, whoa, suddenly you're in a different world. This is a piece of cake. Whereas, a few minutes ago, before I started practicing, it was difficult and impossible and a problem. Practice changes our perception of the world. Very big deal. And this is something that this point we need to, especially in the context of clients, this point we need to absolutely emphasize over and over again. And this is what makes the program work. We are creating an environment for them to practice expressing themselves, for them to practice being aware of themselves, for them to practice self-appreciation, self-acknowledgement. All of these things, as soon as you practice it a few times, whoa, you change. You are practicing sharing how you dealt with stuff. You're sharing how you applied. It's practice, practice, practice. So it doesn't matter how particularly appropriate the modules and the sessions are. It's totally irrelevant. It's practice. So take the attunement session, for instance. It's practice in connecting with bigger deal, more abstract, more overview concepts. If you're not going to apply attunement, it doesn't matter. It's practice to do this, because that ability to abstract and look at the bigger picture, this applies in any situation. Again, weight loss. Does this apply to your bigger overall life situation in terms of health and habit management, etc.? Yes, of course it does. So practice, and to make the participant aware of the absolute critical, valuable power of practice, and also that it changes your perception of the world. So practicing, in other words, so that when I start my practice, I feel uncomfortable, awkward, I don't know, but I just kind of force myself to practice. I take that step in the dark, and it turns the light on this next step. This is absolutely essential to understand practice.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, it makes me really set my own intent that when we introduce the program, new participants, yes, we are making them aware of, the to do as appropriate, as intended, but to really, really emphasize it's about practice, and to understand how practice changes our perception of the world. Brilliant. Hello, Kay.
Hi, Kay. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Perfect timing.
Oh my God. I